Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to show you 4 different tutorials using the Anastasia Soft Glam palette. This palette is amazing. I had to have it the second that I saw it. It just has so many different shades. I feel like even though I've already done 4 looks with it, I still feel like I see endless opportunities when I look at this palette. It's so good. Here's what it looks like. The only other Anastasia palette that I have is the Subculture palette. I did get the Modern Renaissance, but I got it like 2 years ago, and I think I got it off of eBay and I got a fake. So that's what I get for being cheap. Sometimes you love makeup and you really want it and you can't afford your bad habits, so you just try and do what you can, and then you get screwed out of however much money you spent. I don't know, I think I paid like 30 bucks for it. I didn't even save that much money. I should have just bought the real thing. So I'm just gonna be showing you the actual eye looks today. I'm gonna be doing a video soon about how I do my face, how I make my foundation look good or decent, and how I make it last all day and everything. So we'll get to that later. For now, I just wanted to give people a few different, I would say beginner friendly / easy options. A couple of them don't even include an eyeliner. So I'm gonna take this off, and first we're gonna go ahead and start the look using the purples. Okay, so starting out, I already have my eye primed and my brow done. I'm gonna be doing one look at a time on this eye. I was gonna do one look on each eye, but then I remembered this eye is horrible and droopy and I hate it. So I'm just gonna do them all on this eye one at a time. So I primed my eyelid with the Catrice Liquid Camouflage, and I just blended that in with the Real Techniques Miracle Eraser Sponge. Mainly in this video, I'm just gonna be using a couple of brushes that I just got. I went to Rite Aid the other day and they have this brand called Daylogic. So I got this little color switch. You pretty much just rub your brushes in there, so that will save me another 10 pairs of sweatpants, because I'm a lazy, disgusting bitch, and while I'm doing my makeup, I just go on my pants to switch colors. Only on my sweatpants, not on clothes that I wear to work or in public, but I'm lazy. But anyway, this will be easy either way. This little color switch was $6 at Rite Aid, and then they also had this dual eyeshadow brush. So there's a regular fluffy crease brush on one end, and there's a small little detailing blender brush, and that one was $7. And then I also got, this one's called a contour eyeshadow brush, so that one is kind of like an in-between from the big fluffy brush and this one. And honestly, if you had these and a shading, like a flat brush to pack on color with, you would honestly have every eyeshadow brush you need. So thanks, Rite Aid. I would use the Anastasia, the one that came with the kit, but the crease brush on this for some reason wasn't blending out very well. I think it's just a little stiff and a little too small, at least to do like a big blown out transition. Plus I have really big eyelids, so it's a little too small for that, but I will definitely at least be using the small tip. But anytime I'm using either one of these fluffier brushes, if you don't have something like that, feel free to use the one that's included in the palette. It'll work either way. The first day that I did the purple look, I just used the Anastasia brush, but I'd rather not do that now, so I'm just gonna use my regular brushes, but you absolutely can. That's the amazing thing about makeup, is that you can just kind of do whatever works for you. To start out on this look, first I'm gonna take the shade Tempera and a fluffy crease brush. I'm gonna use that to kind of set the concealer that I use to prime my eyelids. And I'm going to take that up a little bit. Next I'm going in with the shade Dusty Rose. It's this light purple here on the corner. I'm just using that same fluffy crease brush. And I'm just going to take this in the crease. This is going to be the transition shade. The point of a transition shade is to give your lid shade something to blend into. You know, you see those girls and they have just makeup and it's like a line. Like it's just like a line where their makeup just stops. A transition shade basically gives you something to blend your color up into seamlessly. And it's super helpful. That's honestly one of the biggest game-changing things that you can do when you're learning how to do makeup. I know if you do makeup, it might seem like, well, yeah, like it's simple, everybody knows. Not everybody knows. It took me a long time to learn about that. Next, I'm going to be taking the shade Sultry. I mean, it is sultry. It's like this nice deep shimmer purple. It's gorgeous. I honestly love this color. I'm just going to be taking the flat end of that Anastasia brush. If you have any flat packing brush, this is the other one I use a lot. I think this one's from ABH Cosmetics. You can use any kind of packing brush that you want to, but I'm going to use the Anastasia one, and I'm going to go into that shade. I'm just going to start really packing this in. I'm not wetting it down or anything, but I'm gonna start packing this in on the lid. And just try and keep it only on so that if you open your eye, you cannot see it above the line where your eye folds. So keep it just right on that eyelid. And kind of the more that you work with the shade, the less intense it gets. If you want to wet it, by all means. I just don't like wetting shimmer shades that I work with because I feel like it makes it harder to blend them out. I feel like you have to be a lot more careful, and I usually do not have time to be careful. Okay, so this is the reason I do my eyes before my face. Fallout is just part of makeup. It just happens. I don't take away points from the palette for that. Okay, so now I'm just taking the other end of the Anastasia brush, the fluffier side, and I'm just going to blend the edge there where the shimmer shade meets the matte. Next, I'm going to take the shade Cypress Umber, and I'm going to take that medium-sized fluffy brush, and I'm going to start packing that on the outer corner on the actual eyelid. Kind of bring it over, and then eventually start slowly doing circles to blend it up into the crease. Okay, so now to blend that out, I'm just taking the bigger fluffy brush and just kind of fixing this little area where things got a little strange there. And I'm actually going to dip briefly back into Dusty Rose to help that area blend. Now I'm going to be taking the shade Noir with the flat end of the Anastasia brush, and carefully, because this is an intense black, pack that onto the outermost part of the outer corner. And take the fluffy side. Blend it out a little easier to the center. And a little bit upward. I'm just going to be taking that big fluffy crease brush once more, going back into Dusty Rose, going back over the crease. Make sure you clean this off before you use it again or you're going to be sad. I'm going to take the flat side of the Anastasia brush and I'm going to dip back into Sultry one more time. And just kind of brighten it back up here. For the inner corner on this one, you can kind of do whatever you want, but I used the Anastasia Amrezy highlight. It's so freaking good. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm just taking a small brush and highlighting the inner corner here. Good enough. Do a little on the brow bone maybe. For eyeliner, I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Megaliner. I like this one because it's so matte. It doesn't dry and kind of crack and look ridiculous. I'm going to stop breathing for a second while I do this. Okay, so there's the eyeliner. I'm gonna go ahead and throw on some concealer real quick. Okay, so I went ahead and threw on a little bit of my favorite, the Catrice Liquid Camouflage. Now I'm just taking the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On in the shade Perversion, and I'm gonna be running that along the waterline, top and bottom. Next, once again, taking the flat side of the Anastasia brush, I'm going back into the shade Dusty Rose, and that along the entire bottom lash line. And then blend it out with the fluffy side of the brush. Then I'm going to use the same brush and take the shade Noir. I'm going to take the shade Dusty Rose on the fluffy side again, just so it's a little visible. And then I'm going into the shade Sultry again, that main purple shimmer shade. And just running that across this front section here. Come on. Now this is obviously a super blown out lower lash line, so you don't have to be as crazy if you don't want. And then curl my lashes. Then I'm gonna use the Maybelline Total Temptation mascara. Holy shit, I have never been so in love with a mascara. It's so black, it's so intense. It makes my eyelashes look amazing. Try it. If you haven't tried it, try it. I've never like loved a mascara. I feel like I just kind of use whatever mascaras, little minis I have lying around or whatever, but I love this mascara. Then also in this look, I did go over the bottom lashes, so I will do that as well. And get it all over my face, as usual. I always have this one eyelash on the end that sticks out, and I hate it. So I just pull the mascara off of it. Is that weird? Am I weird? Just sweep away any fallout, and voila. That was cringy. So there's the first look. Pretty sexy, pretty bedroom eyes looking. 2, 10. 2, 10. Take her swimming on the first date type of makeup. The next look, I believe, is the pink one. By the way, I needed to add in a little note here about an hour after filming that I just realized that at some point I shut off one of my lights, and so if it looks like shit, that's why. I also forgot to use my microphone, so good YouTubing, Acadia. To start off this next look, I'm going to be starting with the shade Tempera, and I'm going to be taking a fluffy crease brush once again and doing the same as I did last time and just covering my crease. Then I'll be taking the shade Orange Soda, again with that same crease brush, and running that lightly through the crease. I don't want it to look super orange, I just want it to have something to blend into. Then taking the flat side of the Anastasia brush and going into the shade Rose Pink. I'm going to be placing that all over the lid. Again, not using this one wet. Then I'm going to take that fluffy crease brush and blend it out. And this one you can kind of bring up a little bit onto the actual crease, and I'm just going to build this up a little more as I go because it does kind of blend out a bit the more you use it. Also, my eye, usually I have moisturizer and all kinds of stuff on so things will stick a little better, but because I'm doing these eye looks back to back, my eye is a little bit more dry than usual. So I'm going to actually dip my whole fluffy brush into Rose Pink and blend that slightly more into the crease. And you know what? I'm gonna take a tiny bit of the Essence Keep It Perfect spray and spray the end of that flat brush because it's really not sticking. I didn't have this problem before, so I really think it's because of the fact that I'm doing these back to back and my eye's getting a little dry. Okay, yeah, that's much more intense this time. Then with the shade Mulberry, I'm taking a smaller round brush and I'm gonna place that on the outer corner here. actually went ahead and did a straight line straight back from the eye. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw on some concealer again. Next, I'm gonna be taking the Estee Edit Inside Track Kajal in the shade Bordeaux. Any wine red sort of eyeliner or like burgundy or Bordeaux will work. Then in the waterline, they actually don't sell these anymore, unfortunately, which sucks because these are some of the best eyeliners I've used. They blend amazingly and they last forever. But the Estee Edit was canceled. There are so many other ones. The Marc Jacobs gel liners are really good. I'm gonna go back in the shade Rose Pink. And once again, using the same brush, I'm gonna dip into Mulberry. Run that across the lash line. Then I'm gonna take the fluffy side, blend that out a bit, curl lashes one more time, and again, using the Total Temptation mascara by Maybelline. For a look like this, obviously, lashes are going to be the main focal point of the look, or at least they'll be a lot more noticeable. So you really wanna be extra precise with them. Done my makeup so many times today, they're kind of getting to that point where I can't be very precise with them. And the lower lash line. For the inner corner on this look, I had actually used the Milani Day Glow highlight, just because it's the one I was wearing on my face, so pop a tiny bit of that in the inner corner. And voila, the look. I would say this one's probably the easiest out of all of them, most beginner friendly. I did this one when I had about 20 minutes to get ready for work, so it's pretty easy. It goes a lot faster when you're not explaining it too, so I promise it doesn't take that long. You do it once, you can do it 100 times. For this next look, I'm going to be starting with the shade Burnt Orange. As usual, taking the fluffy crease brush, just going to blend that into the crease. And this one I'm going to pull up pretty high here. Next, going into the shade Rustic with the same fluffy brush. I'm also going to put that right into the crease. But this shade I want to be a little bit more intense than the Burnt Orange. Then I'm going to clean off my brush, run that over the edge of the crease here. Then going into the shade Cypress Umber and taking the small shader brush, I'm going to take that across the lid. Then taking the fluffy brush, blending that out. I'm just going to touch up a couple little areas where it may have skipped a little bit. Then taking my slightly bigger blending brush, dipping that into Noir, the black shade. I'm going to start this on the outermost corner. And slowly kind of diffuse it toward the center of the lid. Then take the fluffy brush again. And do not blend upward with this, just blend back and forth. Okay, so I do want this to go up slightly. So I'm going to add a little bit more to this outer corner. But I haven't added any more to my brush at all. I'm just kind of carefully putting a slight bit more on there. and blend it out again on a clean brush. Let me throw on some concealer and do the bottom lash line. So now that I have that concealer on, I am once again going to be taking the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Pencil. Running this along the waterline. Going back into the Soft Glam palette, taking the small blending brush and going back into the shade Burnt Orange and running this pretty low down on the lash line. Then going into the shade Rustic, going over that. And finally back into the shade Noir. And then the highlight that I used yesterday when I did this was actually from the Colourpop In-nude-endo highlight palette. It's the shade Glad You Came. Once again, this is just the highlight I was wearing on my face that day, but honestly this palette is amazing. So I'm just gonna tap that onto the inner corner with that same brush. And slightly at the brow bone. And I feel like that adds a whole nother level of sultriness to it when you highlight the inner corner on this look. I'm actually gonna skip mascara for this one just because I've put it on so many times in this video, and I think you kind of get the idea. This is how this one looks completed. Look at that difference, holy shit. I honestly felt so hot when I was wearing this yesterday. Like, I love bringing out my goth girl. She gets put away too often nowadays. But anyway, we have one more look. I'm bringing it to you right now. Okay guys, we are finally on to the final part of this tutorial. Thank God, because my eye is so pissed right now. Don't ever take your makeup off and put it back on 4 times in a row, back to back, Katia. Don't fucking do that. So this is the look that I started out the video with. I like this one because I feel like it's kind of easy to do, but looks like you put a lot of effort into it kind of thing. But the wonderful thing about this palette is the shades blend themselves out and it takes minimal work. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm gonna start by going into the shade Orange Soda and putting that in the crease as my transition color. Next, I'm going to take the bigger crease brush and I'm going to go into the shade Burnt Orange right there. And I'm just going back over the crease with Orange Soda. Then taking that same big crease brush, I'm going into the shade Sienna, and I'm going to be placing this on the outer corner. And blending slightly up. But I'm not bringing it all the way over. I'm going to kind of fade it out a little bit at the front. And then going back in with Orange Soda to neutralize. I think there may have been a tiny bit of Cypress Umber left on one of these brushes. Then I'm taking, this is a different brush. You can just use any regular flat packing brush, but this one's so dense and it applies color so pigmented that I'm actually going to use this one. I'm going to take the shade Glistening and I'm just going to apply this to the inner corner here and bring that over, but I'm not going above the crease with this shade. Then I'm going to take my shorter, smaller blending brush and I'm going to go back into Burnt Orange. create a little bit of a fade between those two. Then I'm going to take the slightly bigger crease brush and go back into Sienna. Put a little more in the outer corner and bring that forward so that they kind of blend together a little more seamlessly. And just kind of alternate between that shimmer shade and the matte shade until you feel like you have a good blend right at the middle there. Next, I'm going to be taking the Wet n Wild Megaliner once again. This time I didn't go quite as intense with this look on the eyeliner. Throw on some concealer real quick. Okay, so I actually did not do lower lash line eyeliner today when I did this look. Instead, I'm going to take that thick little packing brush again, and I'm going to go back into glistening and apply that along the inner corner here. Then using the same brush, I'm going back into burnt orange, running that from where glistening ends to the other side of the lash line. And putting that on the outermost. Then I'm taking the regular round shader brush and blending that out. And taking the fine tipped one again and applying it closer to the lash line. Then I'm gonna go one more time back into glistening. Pop that back into the corner. And then for highlight today, once again, I use the Amrezy highlight, or Amrezy, I don't know. Popping that into the inner corner. Hell yeah. Alright, final part of the final look. Curl those lashes. Once again, Maybelline Lash Temptation. Oh man. Oh well. My eyelashes have like so had it right now that I can't even really put mascara on. I think I might have to go makeup free tomorrow. And here's the final look. Here's the very last look. Alright, so that's it for this video. Let me know what your favorite look was out of these four. If you recreate any of them, please show me, please tag me. That would be like the world's most flattering thing that's ever happened to me. If you don't have the Soft Glam palette, I want to know, are you gonna buy it? Because I 100% recommend it. It's amazing. I would like to do more videos like this. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know what other palettes you would want to see different looks made with. I love this palette so much. It's so cool. I mean, I still haven't used the shade Bronze or Fairy, and those are the last two shimmer shades on the palette. I just feel like there's endless looks that you can make with this. Like, it's so cool. If you liked it, let me know. I'd love to hear from you, and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.